What's up, everybody, and welcome to Real Time for the Real Everyday Movie Fan. I'm Josh Williams.
And I'm Ryan Murphy.
And you know what we're reviewing? You clicked on the video. We are giving you our real-time review of It.
This is maybe our most this anticipated review.
Yeah.
We get more hits for our trailer reactions for It than anything else we've ever done.
We really have. If you check out our trailer reactions, we got a lot of hits.
There's such a following out there. I never knew it was that popular a book before we just started doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But who directed this and who's all in this?
Jaeden, Lieberher. The kids are Jaeden, Lieberher, Jeremy Ray Taylor, Sophia, Lillis, Finn Wolfhard, Chosen Jacobs, Jack Dylan, Grazer, Wyatt, Oleff, and just so that you, and then of course there is of course, as Pennywise the Clown is Bill Skarsgard.
Oh yeah.
So
I can't remember who. I can't rember pronounce his name. The director. How do you pronounce it exactly? You better.
Andres Muschietti.
There you go, Muschietti.
There we go. But yeah, I didn't see this. Not
yet. He's going to though.
Yes. So Josh gets to go see movies early because he works at the theater, and I was like, Josh, we have to get this review up as early as possible. Just to get it to you people, so that you can enjoy it. So let's just do it. Let's not wait for me. Let's do it as soon as you see it. So Josh, you saw this movie. I know you've been a fan of this book for a long time. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and give us your score out of 10 and tell us what you thought. I'm just
gonna give the score right out of the gate, and I'll get all my backstory out the way. I'm giving this a solid 9.3 out of 10. 9.3 out of 10. I think it's a solid score for right there. There are a couple small aesthetics I would have preferred that were in the book that are not in the movie. I'm not going to spoil it exactly. I'll be kind of vague for people who have read the books and have seen the miniseries, stuff like that. But other than that, this movie was so fantastic. And the first Stephen King book I ever did read was The Stand. It was the first one I ever read. But then after that, I read It.
Well, you watched the series, correct?
I watched the series as a child. And then the first ever Stephen King book I read was Stand, and then I read It. So I did see It, the miniseries first before the book. But I've been a fan of the Pennywise and of this whole world ever since I was a little child. And when this was coming out, I was extremely excited. This movie does not let go of you. Like, once it scares you, and that little scene with Georgie in the trailers, once that happens, once that scare ghost takes place, it doesn't give you a chance to breathe. And I loved that about this movie. Like, once you think you get a chance to breathe and they'll tell a little bit more of the story, they focus on the story beautifully, but also incorporate amazing scare tactics, like amazing jump scares that are used appropriately. Great visual terror. I mean, the visuals in this movie were just, it was almost like what you read in the book, they slapped it on the screen. Mm-hmm. It was extremely impressive. And that all has to do with Andre Muschietti's directing and Bill Skarsgard as Pennywise. Holy shit. I was so impressed with him. I was really excited about Will Poulter. And then when he was cast, I was a little on the fence because I'd never seen him anything. I haven't seen Hemlock. So this is my first experience with him as an actor. And man, does he bring Pennywise to life more than so. No one will ever replace Tim Curry, ever. No one ever will. Even though it's more of a lighthearted version of the story, no one ever replaced him as Pennywise, but he gives a different adaptation to Pennywise that I just really loved. I mean, absolutely. And I can go on and on and on. The cast, one of the great other things about this movie is the cast of the Losers Club. They all have such amazing chemistry that their witty banter between one another. Finn Wolfhard, who's in Stranger Things, he's probably the most known person of the child actors. I mean, he plays Richie, who's kind of the jokester, and he sticks to that moniker. I mean, he's a pretty foul-mouthed kid. He kept a lot of the comedy going in that movie. I loved it. But what I did appreciate was the most well-fleshed out characters were Bill and Beverly. Were more so, and both Sophia and Jaeden Lieber, how you say his name?
Whatever.
Yeah, but anyways, both of them did a fantastic job together. I mean, they both brought the characters to life, and all of them actually really did. But you got more of the development from them too. But yeah, that was some of the fun parts a lot of the great parts about this film.
So, and as far as an adaptation of the book, it managed to cover the ground of this particular area of the book relatively well. Not perfectly, you said.
Not perfectly, because there's some things. If you've read the book, come on, there's some things you cannot. Even if it's a rated R, there's some things you can't put in.
There were some things that you wanted to see.
Yeah. There was one thing. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a certain character where his fear is something specific, they change it up for the sake of the movie, which changing up's fine, and it wasn't bad. But I still feel like they could have kept this particular actor's fear of what they're fearful of, and it still would have worked really well. It is to me just more of an aesthetic kind of thing. But as far as adaptations, I mean, this was way better. I mean, as far as for them as children, way better than what it was in the miniseries. Of course, I mean, the miniseries has a TV budget, but this movie earns its R, like hardcore earns its R. There are some great scares. There's some great scenes of horror that really, like after the initial, I
think I made him shit himself.
I think he just shit himself.
Like he follows it up. Muschietti follows it up with like visuals terror that I was extremely impressed with. I mean, all across the board. Let's see. The other thing I probably didn't like all that much. There's another. They change up the direction of a character towards the end of the film. I can't give it away, but I can't be vague. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, especially people who haven't even read the book or seen the miniseries. What I say was like this: so there were a couple small aesthetic things that I prefer that they would have kept the same, because it still could have worked just as well, especially how they structured the film and how they wrote the film and how it was told. But that's people will make things up to have their own little angle on it, which I'm okay with. And definitely at the very end, there's going to be a second one. This is them as kids. There's going to be a second one when they're adults, and I can tell like there's some things that leave you as far as someone who hasn't seen the film, like they leave things unanswered as far as who Pennywise really is.
Yeah.
But they allude to it really well. And I think what they're doing is they're playing the long game, whereas when the second movie comes out, they'll explore much more of Pennywise than what they already have. This kind of gives you a great introduction to him, and they do explore him really well within the history of Derry and like what he's all about. But I think they're kind of playing the long game in that aspect.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So, good movie, good adaptation of the book. It's a very scary movie. Good interpretation of Pennywise the Clown, and you can recommend it to our audience.
I can absolutely recommend this. But here's the funny part. I want everyone to go see this film. I really do. But the weird part is there's like some people who really get scared in films. Like there's a coworker of mine who she wants to see it, but she doesn't, because she doesn't handle horror movies well. The thing about this movie is, like I said earlier, once it grabs you, it doesn't give you a chance to breathe. And it focuses on the plot at the same time and really develops and fleshes out the characters all in the same moment. That's what I loved about it the most. But that feeling of not getting a chance to breathe can really, I think it might, I don't want to say like deter people away from seeing it, but I don't know, some people might be able to handle it. That's the weird part. Like there's some couple moments where I was going to handle it all the way through, but there's a couple moments where I was like, can I please get a chance to breathe? Because it just his direction of shooting these horror shots and just shooting the movie in general was extremely well done and almost near perfect. But that's what I can say. Yeah, classic horror movie. And after the movie's over, I was like, that's how you make a horror movie right there.
This is going into the annals right alongside anything John Carpenter has done, you'd say.
That and like there's like two movies always come to mind. Well, this will be in line with one of them, but two movies always come to mind horror-wise in modern era that I always say that's how you make a horror movie. Will be Conjuring 2, I kind of put them together, and Babadook. Like those three are the ones I say that's a horror movie, a great movie for the modern era, and this will go down along with it, I guarantee it.
Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, folks, well, that'll do us for today. What did you think of it? Have you read the book? Have you seen the miniseries? Did you just go see the movie? What are your experiences with the story that's just so popular and has such a following? Please let us know. Let us know what you thought of the movie, and leave your comments in the section below. I can't wait to see it this weekend. I think it's going to be a really seminal film and one of the big films of the year. So thanks a lot, and please smash that like button so that you can see more of our content in the future. And until next time, I'm Ryan Murphy.
And I'm Josh Williams.
And thank you for keeping it real.
With ReelTime.